Life seems easy to recognize. Plants grow, animals move, people think. A rock does none of that. Yet when you try to define exactly what separates the living from the non-living, the boundary becomes surprisingly hazy. One scientific view describes life as a system that keeps itself organized despite a natural drift toward disorder. Living organisms constantly use energy to maintain structure, repair themselves, and stay functional. Without that effort, everything slowly settles into balance and inactivity. At the most basic level, every known organism is built from cells. These microscopic units form protective boundaries, regulate internal conditions, consume resources, grow, respond to their surroundings, reproduce, and adapt across generations. Those qualities sound like hallmarks of life, but zoom in closer.
Wow, look at that!
Deeper still. Inside a cell, there is no single component that is alive on its own. There are molecules following chemical rules, triggering reactions that trigger more reactions. Millions of such interactions occur every second, coordinated with astonishing precision. Complex proteins assemble, break apart, and rebuild continuously. The entire system operates like an intricate process rather than a single living object. Eventually, every organism stops functioning. To persist beyond that point, life relies on genetic information. DNA stores instructions that allow new organisms to develop, passing traits forward. Evolution favors the information that best survives its environment. Still, DNA alone does nothing without a cellular environment. A strand of genetic code outside a functioning system is simply a complicated molecule. That complicates the question: is life the chemistry, the information, or the organized process linking both? Viruses push the ambiguity further. They carry genetic material but depend on host cells to reproduce. Some scientists consider them alive, others do not. They exist in staggering numbers regardless of how we classify them.
Even within our own cells, structures like mitochondria hint at blurred categories.
Long ago, they were independent bacteria. Today, they function as energy producers inside larger cells, keeping some genetic independence yet no longer living freely. These examples suggest that life may be less about a specific substance and more about patterns that sustain themselves over time. Information, organization, and interaction seem central. That idea raises modern questions. As technology advances, artificial systems increasingly show traits once associated only with biology: adaptation, learning, self-correction. Whether machines could ever qualify as living remains open, but the gap is shrinking. Historically, people often placed humanity apart from the rest of nature, imagining a special essence unique to us. Scientific discoveries repeatedly narrowed that distinction. Each step forces us to reconsider how exceptional we truly are.
So what is life? A collection of molecules? A flow of information? A process that resists disorder for a while?
There is no universally accepted answer.
Perhaps the deeper realization is this: everything in the universe is built from the same fundamental ingredients.
The difference between living and non-living might be complexity and organization, rather than completely separate categories. If that is true, then life and death may not be absolute opposites but phases within a continuous physical story. There are no final conclusions here, only questions worth exploring.
Reflecting on them reminds us how interconnected we are with the wider universe.
And why curiosity itself often feels like a sign of being alive. Curiosity itself often feels like a sign of being alive.